nEoNgOd came about over a year ago when Steve, Brad and I were getting together around Steve's house, and we just started demoing ideas. Steve had some guitar parts already in the mix, and then we just sort of went from there, really.
We weren't necessarily working towards an EP or an album or anything. We were just trying different sounds together and exploring new ideas.
And went on a journey from there.
Started off as a collection of just demos, as we always do. We had about 10 songs, 8 to 10 songs that we were working on, but some didn't really fit with the others. So we kind of decided maybe it'd be best to put an EP out. Originally we chose 4 of the songs we were working on for that EP.
The first one was Socrates, and that was a lot heavier. And there was like OMG, which is kind of fun, upbeat and riffy. Human Furniture was kind of like jangly and tappy. Yeah, there was just so many different ideas going into one song. It's fun.
And then Glitch came along during the first lockdown in 2020. We thought we'd write a song together, just online, bouncing ideas back and forth.
The recording itself was done over time.
Due to lockdown, that actually kind of restricted how we recorded the EP as well.
When we wrote our first album, a lot of it was hashed out in a practice space, so we were able to figure out what works and what didn't work in a live kind of situation. Whereas when it came to really figuring out these songs, we had to adjust the way we worked.
I set this up basically in the first lockdown. It's a very terrible, lo-fi, basic studio, but I've got the essentials. I've got Logic, a sound card and a mic. So yeah, Steve sent me a tutorial video on how to set Logic up and how to lay down some vocals. So at the beginning of lockdown 1, that meant we could all send our ideas across to each other.
We did the drums separately at the Mill Studios with Tom Joy.
Recording them was done in summer, mostly, of 2020. Lockdown lifted enough for us to be able to jump in the studio and get the drums done, which was great.
Hi, I'm Tom. I'm a studio engineer and music producer from the east of England. I engineered the drums on the new ProDrive EP and mixed it. Recording and mixing the EP was quite a challenge because obviously at the time we're in the middle of a pandemic, so getting loads of people in a small enclosed space to record songs isn't the most ideal thing. But I'm still really happy with how the recording turned out. It's one of my favourite drum sounds I've got in recent time. Mixing it as well, I usually do mixing with the band online and over email and things anyway, but it's sometimes good, with the first ProDrive album, at the end of the mixing process we all got in the same room and everyone gave their final thoughts and tweaks. It would have been good to have been able to do that, but I still think we got a great mix out of it, in my opinion. The standout song on the EP for me is OMG. I feel like that's got a real driving rhythm, catchy chorus, and it's got all the overlaying and intertwining vocals, which made it really fun to work on and mix and things like that. This EP is definitely a continuation of ProDrive's first album. I definitely think the songwriting and arrangement in general has got even tighter. It's just gone up another level, and that's definitely down to things like Steve being involved in the tracking at all stages, really, and the tones he chooses for guitars and things like that, that they all fit their parts perfectly. and that really helps bring everything together and makes my job a lot easier. My input into this recording was pretty much just the drums. The band sent over lots of demos and demo projects for me to listen to, so it meant I went into the drum recording with a solid picture of what I wanted the drums to sound like. That makes the mixing job easier for me because I know what I'm dealing with and I know every step that I took with the drums. And I feel like if you've got a good solid drum sound you're happy with, then it's really easy to go from there.
Sorry, start again.
The guitars and bass were recorded at Steve's house. Did an excellent job, I think.
All guitars and bass were done here, I think in February before the first lockdown, so we managed to sneak those in. Paul came round, we laid down the bass, got those done.
And Brad did half of the vocals there, which were originally just supposed to be demos, but then due to COVID, we just ended up keeping those vocal parts.
We ended up using demo vocals on 3 songs that Brad had done because we actually realised we couldn't get together in the same house and record, but the demo vocals were actually really strong and easily good enough to go on the EP, so on they went.
They were done in the moment as we were writing the songs, as we were demoing the songs, and it's nice to kind of have that raw passion and honesty. So yeah, we kept those, which I really like.
Brad did a couple of extra songs then at his house, did a great job on them. I just sent them back to me for sort of editing and tweaking.
So I had to finish 2 songs here. So yeah, I could do that in my own time. I could do that when I felt like doing it. So that was good for me. I kind of had my own space to get inside the song. I didn't feel pressured like being around anyone. So I wrote nEoNgOd and Glitch. So that was cool.
And just sent that over the internet to Steve, over the cloud, and that's how the EP came together.
It was all sent back to Tom for mixing. And yeah, it sounds great. It was then sent to a guy called John Niclerio in the States at Nada Studios, who's mastered all our stuff previously, and he's mastered the EP as well. He's worked with so many bands, such as like the first My Chemical Romance album, Brand New, so many drive-through bands he's recorded and mastered. His CV is impressive, and yeah, so to have him master our stuff still is great. He's worked on everything we've done, so he's a solid and reliable chap.
First EP, Steve and Brad did everything. I mean, Brad did all the lyrics and Steve did all the songwriting, guitar. The album, there was a little bit of collaboration. I helped write a song or 2, but yeah, this was a collective. Like I say, Steve had some ideas, but most of it came together when we were doing these sessions at his house.
It was fun because we'd all bounce off of each other because we all had different inspirations, different likes and different dislikes, so it was like a cool compromise of just throwing all these different ideas around.
In and around cup of teas, that's kind of how it all came together, and I provided the cookies. We ate a lot of cookies in the process.
It's like tricks in a dive, you trip and stumble over it all, and you sweep it all underneath. Yeah, we pull from the rear, set the world alight and on fire. If we only had the time and patience for it all.
I guess the end result was fundamentally the same, especially to anyone that's going to hear it, but the preparation and the release from our perspective as a band was definitely different. For example, recording the drums, usually you would have time to practice right beforehand and make sure that you've really got all your parts nailed. But because we were doing it as and when we could, when we were allowed to mix throughout 2020, it was a case of getting in the studio when we could. So I had to find other ways to prepare and make sure that I was going to make the most of that time.
I guess the main difference with this release is it was recorded in not so optimal ways, but it worked out well and we're really pleased with that sound. We recorded it during lockdown, getting opportunities whenever we could, having to use demo vocals, which, as I said, sound amazing, but maybe in an ideal world it would have been great to spend some time on redoing them. But overall, it's a very similar way to how we work. We like to sort of have a little bit of control over what we're recording, what we're going to put out, on the videos as well. The videos, we work with our friend Charlie Wallace, again, who we've worked with on The Pancakes, Foxes, More Than Magic. So it's great to have him on board for 2 more videos, which is OMG and Socrates.
I'm Charlie Wallace, I'm the director of OMG and Socrates. I've previously made videos for Prey Drive for their songs Foxes, More Than Magic and Pancakes. The way we had to shoot these videos was different to those videos though. We kind of had to try and get quite a lot done in quite a short space of time. The planning was a bit more tricky because we were dealing with a pandemic. I've got to say, sort of Paul's acting was a revelation. Sort of the Hollyoaks screams that Paul manages to pull off in the video are fantastic. Steve does a brilliant confused face. Christian's just horrifying, sinister grin throughout the whole of the ritual side of things. And Brad's just got a knack for what I call his looking up and seeing things face, where kind of he's looking down and he looks up and he sees the thing he's looking at. We've got quite a few shots like that in all of the videos we've done with Brad, and yeah, he pulls that off really, really well. So sort of standout moments of the whole thing. I'm really pleased with the shot at the end of the video where Brad and his doppelganger come face to face sort of was pulled off. It's the closest I think we've got to special effects in our videos. That's sort of harking back to the Michael Bay version that me and Steve would talk about. And I'm really looking forward to getting the next one done. It should be a laugh. And I'm really looking forward to getting the trilogy finalised.
So when Prey Drive were on tour in Europe, I think we were in Germany. Germany? I don't know, Steve can tell you the actual answer. But we were on tour in Europe and we were playing with a band called Burnt Tapes, and they were with Lockjaw, and we met Lockjaw that night. I think in Germany, maybe not, probably Belgium. Belgium?
We met Rob from Lockjaw in Germany or Belgium. I can't remember off the top of my head.
And we previously met Rob from Lockjaw when we played a few shows in, first one in Belgium with a Lockjaw band called the Burnt Tapes.
Maybe. I don't know. Somewhere in Europe.
It was actually in Belgium.
And we met them at the show. They seemed cool. Didn't think anything of it, to be fair. And then that's as far as I know, really. Then we got an email saying they were interested in the EP, so maybe Steve or Paul sent them the demos, I think. I'm not sure.
And one of his bands called Burnt Tapes were playing the same show, and Rob was there with a catalogue of music. I think he just takes all the bands that he has, records on the road with a collection of other stuff, and sets up like a little record store. And we were just sort of curious and like, oh, what's this? And started looking at what he had available and just got chatting to him from there. And then he watched our set and he really enjoyed it. And then we realised that we were going to be playing with Burnt Tapes again at the end of the tour in the UK. So when we did that, we got together with those guys again before and after the show and just had a chat and got on really well with Rob. And I think the interest sort of grew from there, and Steve stayed in contact with him.
I really liked the sound. It was nice and progressive, lots of dynamics. Reminded me of a couple of math bands and rock bands that I enjoyed. So I kept an eye on them and kept in touch.
We were looking for a way to put out our EP. We self-released the first album and we really wanted to do it differently this time.
When we decided we wanted to reach out to other labels, I decided to give them an email and just say, would you be interested in working with us? And yeah, they liked the idea of it. They sent me demos or whatever you had at the time. They were into it. It's quite different from other Lockjaw stuff.
I'm Leslie O'Brien, label manager at Lockjaw Records. I first heard about Prey Drive when Rob had gone on tour with the Burnt Tapes in Europe.
It was actually in Belgium.
And he got back and he told me that he'd seen this UK band, that they were based in Norwich, and I should go check them out. And I did, and yeah, they were sick. Yeah, Rob had kept in touch with the band and mentioned to me that they were interested in working with us, and I just thought, perfect. They're not our typical band that we'd have on Lockjaw, but we've always talked about sort of progressing our sound, and I feel with the band's technical abilities, it really aligns itself with a lot of the skate punk bands and the hardcore bands that we have on the label. Although they don't sound like one of those bands, there's a lot of things that people who like skate punk and melodic hardcore should really like about this band. They're not your, I guess, sort of typical UK rock band. There's a lot of different movements and great musicianship, really.
Yeah, they've been amazing. Rob and Leslie, Joel have just been really great with helping us get this release together, piecing together a really good release plan, helping us get it pressed to vinyl, which, as you'll now see, has been pressed to 2 amazing colour variants, the neon limited edition version and the splatter regular version, if you want to put that.
I absolutely love the artwork, from the single artwork and the album artwork. I really can't wait to actually see it. I think, you see things online, digital all the time, to actually sort of see like a record and actually see how the print came out, see how that all bounces together. I think the EP's great. There's lots of movements in it. The guitar work is fantastic. Brad's vocals are just so beautiful. You've got catchy choruses, really intricate verses, and like meaty hooks. But like the standout moment for me is when you first switch on the record and it just comes in on Socrates. It is a dirty riff and you want to pull a face and listen to that and mosh. Great intro.
So, lockdown has affected our band in many ways. We don't obviously see each other in person, we can't rehearse, there's no live shows, and the writing that we were doing at Steve's house stopped abruptly, obviously. But we have stayed in contact. We've actually tried to adapt, and we've been writing songs with each other online, which has been a whole new experience, but it's kind of opened up new doors. Before, it was difficult. Well, we thought it was difficult because Christian is based in London, so he's not with us all the time. But actually having these Zoom calls has reconnected us with him, and he's more a part of the demos than he was before, because he can bring the drums as an idea. He actually programs the drums in advance so that for the demos, so that we can put ideas together, and it's nice that way. And I think it just shows that you don't always have to be in a room. You can do things online, and but it would be nice to be together in person again. There's nothing better than human contact, I think.
We had several mini tours lined up, and lots of shows have been postponed, as they have with everyone, which is a shame. You can't do any live stuff. So yeah, as much as we've missed that, I suppose what it has done is forced us to be productive in other ways.
We're writing new songs and we've got 5, 6, 7 ideas already for something new.
When I was writing nEoNgOd, the lyrics are about isolation, the state of technology, social media, And I guess growing up with that and how that affects your mental state. So I hope that people can relate to nEoNgOd. It's just a statement about the way people currently are living their lives through social media, through technology, and I don't think it's going to change. It's only going to get worse because that's how people are brought up now.
I just hope it brings a new audience. I think it's slightly different to the album. I think the people that would have heard the album will like this EP, but I think there's maybe some people who are into heavier music that they might enjoy this. There's a couple of songs, Socrates and nEoNgOd, that kind of goes down that road a bit. Yeah, it's a lot heavier than the stuff we've done before, so I think hopefully we'll open doors to new audiences. And I think it's just, it's a fulfillment for ourselves, and it's a passion of ours to do this band. And so, I think even if the four of us are the only ones that bought it or heard it, we'll be proud of it. It's a good EP.
Now it's just nice to be able to kind of connect with people and maybe have something in the music, something in the lyrics that actually does resonate with people, and they take something from it. Whether it be something in the lyrics that inspires them to do something, or just resonates with them, rings true to them, or they just think the guitar parts are cool, or the drums are cool, or the bass is cool, or anything. It's just that if we get someone come up to us and just give us some feedback and just tell us that they like it as well, that's what we like to hear. And it's all very different now in the digital age, where someone will just give you a thumbs up on a comment or whatever, and it's nice, you get like that validity, like, yeah, cool, but you don't really know what they're thinking. So when people actually reach out and make a comment or take the time just to let you know that they felt this, felt that, it's amazing, because we're just four guys from a tiny little city in the east of England who do this in our spare time. So it's nice that the music can reach people, and hopefully from the back of the EP we'll be able to play some shows. We'll be able to go up and down England, possibly back to Europe. Whether that's ever going to be likely anymore, we don't know, but we've always done quite well in Europe.
I guess like everyone hopes for their music, you just want people to hear it. I really hope that it's well received. I hope that the planning and the preparation that we've put into putting these songs out in a completely crazy year mean that we're able to put out something good and that people will like. And then I guess on the other side of all this, I really hope that we can go out and play some shows.
Sky is the limit, as they say. Or is it?
I just want people to listen to it, really. If they don't, cool.
We can only bend
If they do,
so many ways. We're making shapes that